commits a lot of pressure onto the enemy team more so than anything else. You don't see him sitting at his turret farming. Hardly ever.
Slow rolling through the bands right now, making sure they get everything they want. You can see at the end of the table, the books. Actually, BrokenShard's got paper too, and then LemonNation notebook on the left side. Last band here for compLexity. This is going to be a big one for them, and that's the Twitch for Sneaky.
Yeah, Cloud9 would have
focused 80 carries, yep.
It's another thing, though, first pick, though, is Soraka. High brought Soraka into the North American competitive scene. This might actually be his last chance to play it. Heavy nerfs hitting Soraka mid in the 4.8 patch. We, of course, are on 4.7 right now. Only picked in 3 games because it's been banned 8 times so far this split. Yet to lose.
Erickson brought that out as well yesterday. A lot of people have been resorting to that one. It just creates such trouble for the other team in late game fights. And to realize how much Star Call actually does. Kind of forget, there's so many things happening in the fight. She's such a good pick. See what Meteos and High have for themselves. Cloud9, not usually a team to go ahead and blind pick too many things. But they start off with a mid this time. So they're feeling pretty sure.
They're always sure about that Soraka pick.
Yep.
They just had to do. You can see Siobhan has actually been 100% pick banned so far in the North American LCS and won 8 out of 9 games. Obviously, when you have this low of a sample size,
right?
You got to keep that in mind. But that's a good sign for compLexity, right? They're 0-3, locking down Shyvana and Lucian.
They get out. They get RobertxLEE
very high priority champions
on Lucian, 80 carry that has been sought out for a lot of the summer split, and he has himself had quite good games. Him and Bubbadub have come up with first blood in the bottom lane. It's just rounding out the rest of the game for compLexity and keeping that momentum going is where they're starting to falter. Meteos loving that Kha'Zix pick up, and LemonNation's going to take down Morgana as well. Love that towards the end of the spring split.
Surprising they didn't go with the Morgana Elise support jungle pick combination, but with Soraka, they're more looking for team fights. Soraka gets people low. They need the Kha'Zix to be able to clean up at the end of the team fights. Meteos should be very capable of doing such a thing.
Probably going for Orianna. Very cool. Going to get some ball movement mechanics going in on this one. It looks like BrokenShard will take Elise. Something he fares on quite well. He's been playing a little bit of Lee Sin and getting himself into trouble in initiations. You can do the same thing with repels. Got to be careful. Covering all that ground. Got to make sure your team can catch up as well.
Make sure people can follow.
And the Corki pick up. I like that. Seeing this as well.
I like that, especially with Soraka, because Corki does a large amount of magic damage and also large amounts of AoE, which will synergize very well with the Star Call and the magic resist shred that Soraka brings.
You're just pumping full of mana.
Absolutely, that too.
Looking for the support, Bubbadub. He plays not offhand supports, but not the ones you're going to see every support in the LCS playing.
That guy.
Yeah, indeed, and it is up. Lulu finds her way through the pick and ban phase. Maybe pick here.
Thresh is available though. Would be the most common support pick. But is it a Bubbadub support pick?
Definitely gets his Zyra play in there. Wouldn't really need that one though. Thumbs up to the mustache again. Gotta say it. Bubbadub. Lock it in the Thresh. The plays to hopefully come. The wife steal lane going down there for RobertxLEE and Bubbadub. So very nicely done for compLexity to round out a team with protection. They get shields going in. They got a few dive buddies. We're going to have to see what they can do because Cloud9 is looking for you to dive in. That's what they want.
The thing is, I can't find much fault in compLexity's team composition. They have a lot of nice stuff going on there.
Yeah.
Everyone on pretty comfortable champions. But the problem is they gave Cloud9 exactly what they wanted. Sneaky has had great games on Corki, even though that was the Corki karma. But they synergize it with the Soraka to keep people in team fights and the Trundle pillars.
Right.
It fits Cloud9. They should be strong enough in lanes, but they should be devastating in team fights where they excel.
And we'll see as the teams load onto the Rift. Here's how you've been voting over at LOLesports.com. 93% of you think that Cloud9 will be taking the win. You can continue to vote over at Twitter. Send your picks to @LOLesports. Use the hashtag C9win or COLWin.
Yeah, and this is the game that we kind of expect Cloud9 to really turn it around, and if they don't, it would be a sign of bad things to come. Or this would be a tremendous momentum game for compLexity, because even with Cloud9 falling to Dignitas yesterday, they are still the team that everyone always gets up for. They're the defending champs. Everyone wants to take down Cloud9. And they're This honestly seems to be giant celebrations on social media every time Cloud9 does fall, because a team that wins that much, sometimes people like to see them lose.
You got to get the other end of it,
yeah,
because it makes you want the win then. You have something to want for. But looking at the bans that compLexity did, it looks like they tried to hit out the entire team from top to bottom. They got a Jax, a Kassadin, and a Twitch. There were 2 mid bans coming in from compLexity's, or I'm sorry, from C9 side to make sure they hit at least 1 strong link, and that was Prolly. To ban out 1 champion across the board against Cloud9, like you said, I think it leaves them with too much of what they want.
Their champion pools are pretty deep across the board. They took out the tier 1 from a lot of their positions, but honestly, they missed the Morgana. That's what Lemon's going to take every time, and the Trundle as well for Balls is something he relies upon to dominate.
All right, we're going to be hopping into game 2 here, compLexity versus Cloud9. We are on to the Rift. Your 3rd day of Super Week, very much underway. We'll see where they go from here. We do have the ward in the hands of BrokenShard as usual. And a quick sell buy, actually, as a change by Westrice. He decides to go for Doran's shield and a potion.
More defensive strategy against Trundle, or for a lane swap.
Right,
could be something.
Welcome everyone to Summoner's Rift. You're welcome.
Today we'll be playing Cloud9 versus compLexity. Did you know that 4 teams in the LCS names start with the letter C?
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, very interesting. And I'm going to say no, I didn't.
TSM is last place if you rank the teams by alphabetical order.
Yeah. 30 seconds until minions spawn.
Are these your, like, right before I fall asleep thoughts?
Thinking about too much League.
League all the time. See what we have. Few wards being cleared out. Safe play coming from both sides as there is a 20% waiver going back and forth on that. And it's still moving. compLexity fans coming out of the woodwork here and giving themselves a little bit more love.
Yeah, we very rarely see the Twitter vote reach the same levels as the pregame vote. Much more hope right before the game for underdog teams.
That tense moment. Lots of things
Maybe they're going to get a level 1 catch, get 3 kills, and turn the game around.
It's such weird movement. They're not really ready to go for anything. Are we going to get a lane matchup? And we will. Balls will be heading to the top lane. They will try to invade on that blue, so we're going to have to get Meteos moving in with the help of probably Bubbadub in just a few seconds.
Standard lanes, though. Pretty exciting stuff. Balls are going to see this one, but I wonder how much harassment he's actually going to put down. The blue's basically gone. He's going to try and slow down their path to lane.
Very nice job by High. Probably not really being able to turn around because of the minion damage. Look at Balls here. 2v1 situation. Knows what he can deal with.
Think of the time he was limits as well.
Yep.
Getting Westrice so low, he's actually backing to base. He's going to end up burning that teleport real early. Balls burned his teleport as well, though, so he's just equalizing it out. Slowed down BrokenShard and also provided a lot of safe vision for High, who loves to shove up as quickly as possible on Soraka before he goes back to base to buy his wards.
Boom. You mean like that?
Just like that. Go buy 2 wards, put 1 on each side. That's the way he plays Soraka.
And as BrokenShard said, they apply pressure everywhere. If something's happening somewhere, it's happening somewhere else. And for Meteos to do this by himself, they got to apply a good amount of pressure in the bottom lane. And Balls still in the face of Westrice.
Yeah, real nice stuff by them right there. We'll see how much the Corki harassment actually does. Sneaky, really strong Corki player in lane. Wonder if Bubbadub's going to be able to land the hooks through the black shields of LemonNation.
RobertxLEE and Bubbadub, as I said, they were having quite good faring in these fights. And like I said, a very strong lane that they have coming in here. Will they be able to get first blood once again? Knight is down, and it looks like they're down to a 300 combined HP, just under now, that auto attack from Lemon.
RobertxLEE did save his heal, so overall compLexity feels like they went out on that trade. They're just very low, and if they got aggressive again, Meteos should be waiting in the wings. BrokenShard, though, is 1 step ahead of the game. Meteos got to be careful not to dive.
Be careful, very low HP. I don't think anything's really going to come of this. Meteos is sticking around. Yeah, they get the lantern out. The flame before the hook. The cocoon misses too, but they get Meteos. The double bust could go over to RobertxLEE. That is huge for an 80 carry. A second kill to come in. Absolutely for RobertxLEE. A 3rd kill to come in. LemonNation's going to pick up a retribution kill there, but the kill is there. And RobertxLEE is 3-0 with double bust at 4 minutes.
Wow, Riv. A 4-minute triple kill for the 80 carry. That was basically just a dangerous situation that Meteos opted into, very unlike Cloud9. They got out-harassed in lane, and instead of playing it safe and knowing they'd have better team play, pressed to kind of beat compLexity in lane. That's a bit of disrespect towards them, and it's absolutely cost because they executed that move just right, even giving up a kill, just because it would mean a third for RobertxLEE. BF sword at 4 minutes.
Early game coordination, huge coming in. High looking to prove a little bit aggression. He has no mana here. He's not looking at heal or flash. No movement speed. The repel has not been used by BrokenShard. He can get the Q. He can get back in range. This should be another kill coming in. No! BrokenShard, no! No! No, he goes in! He could go down! You did not want to give him the kill! Meteos just came back.
He can't make it.
Holy macaroni. What in the world?
Well then, yet another kill for compLexity. And a sly smile on BrokenShard's face because he knows he messed that one up a little bit. Ended up having to burn his flash unnecessarily and take a whole heap load of damage, but they still get the kill onto High. That's a kill on everybody except for Ball. So they're even maximizing the bounty gold right there. RobertxLEE staying aggressive.
Walking away from the explosion a little too early. 4-4 here. Look at this pressure. They are beautifully using those double buffs, not just using it to farm and say, yeah, we have the lane. They're consistently trying to zone out Cloud9.
They need to use it to deny farm, though. They have such a heavy AD advantage here, and they honestly don't want to shove in the lane. They accidentally do it when they use piercing lights like that on Mission as they're trying to harass. Because Cloud9 can CS just fine if they're under their turret. It's the danger that becomes when they push up in lane. So that's why you can see trying to harass that Tormented Soil, but not putting it under the minions, because Cloud9 doesn't actually want to shove this one, being down a BF sorted lane.
So far, compLexity really clicking in this game. Not something we've seen him do, at least to this extent at the beginning. We were saying Robert and Bubbadub able to put a lot of pressure on. High, got to keep himself safe.
And compLexity's strength yesterday, Rip, was RobertxLEE and Bubbadub. This game, they really used that to their advantage. They knew that they were going to be a little bit ahead early game. BrokenShard going down to the bottom lane and really capitalizing on that. Now it will be about whether they can transition Robert into late game. Bubbadub, though, finds a friend.
This is some, whoa, very nice dodge out there. Bubbadub safe. He knows he can throw it back for a little extra damage. They might not have taken the full ride with all three there, but they do have BrokenShard already on the move. This will just be for safety.
Continuing the pressure. 1.2 thousand is the gold lead. Lanes are going fairly well for compLexity. Cloud9 trying to just kind of hold steady right now until their tremendous teamfight composition can take into effect. High as well when he hits level 6 will make it much more difficult for lanes to close. Everyone talks about how great of a team fighter Soraka is. We forget she has a global heal or an ultimate. Really has a large impact on the rest of the game.
Especially with compLexity. A lot of champions that can bring themselves to the enemy. They're not going to be in range for that heal in the first place. So the wish will be very nice. compLexity will have to spread these fights, especially with the Soul Shackle, with a lot of the AoE that High will be doing. So far, the laning phase going very well. And Sneaky and LemonNation, these are two guys that have been together. They weren't, you know, part of the hiatus of Cloud9. That was just the mid lane. So right now, compLexity doing what they need to shut down that duo.
Yeah, you can see the passiveness is really heavily in Cloud9 right now. They're hoping to stay shoved in. They're giving up almost all the CS they can. There's no way they can harass CS out of Robert. And they're just hoping to get as many last hits as they can out of turret without taking harass. Doing a pretty good job.
Forced phosphorus aggression pretty much from Sneaky. Dark Bindings can't be hit as they just play the lane so well. So let's take a look at really the effect BrokenShard having on this game. A counter gank coming in to the bottom the first time. Now going to Dragon to help the team solidify it at 8:30. compLexity has always been known as a team to do it early. Really the call from Loud Mortis, but they keep it true.
They're a team that actually has had really good, strong early game strategies, especially in the challenger scene, which is why it's surprising that they've fallen behind so quickly in all these LCS games. Their aggressive tactics and well thought out early game strategies just weren't working against the LCS teams. But this time, because they got that early game triple kill onto their bottom lane, BrokenShard uses that advantage to go and pull themselves a dragon. It was just well timed. Probably had High going back to base. There was no realistic way of Cloud9 contesting that one.
Make sure to keep tweeting for your favorites. Hashtag C9 win, hashtag COL win. Right now, C9 trying to put up some good defense. Not a lot of people thought that would be the first step to this game. Cloud9 really loves to come off of losses, just dominating their opponent, trying to find momentum out the gate.
Yeah, and remember, Cloud9 has never lost 2 games in a row in the LCS. They always bounce back. Actually undefeated in the playoffs as well. They just don't lose very often. If compLexity could pick up their first LCS win against Cloud9, that would be amazing.
Very nice. The slow goes on, and Bubbadub is there. Great roam coming in.
Where'd he come from? Just putting more support up to Westrice. Maybe trying to just counter that really known Cloud9 top lane gank once balls is level 7 or 8. That's probably Cloud9 being far too predictable at this point. It happens pretty much every game.
Yeah.
And knowing that they have a bloodthirster down bottom lane, RobertxLEE can kind of fend for himself. Bubbadub trying to make plays elsewhere and doing well. Saved top lane a little bit, helped him with the shield, and also helps his push mid.
Very nice job. It looks like they're going to be able to open up the map. Now, RobertxLEE getting a little too crazy in the bottom lane. He just gets out of the range. Soul Shackle danger. Gets stunned, but they're not able to follow up on it. So 10.5 minutes in, a good mid take, and Robert keeps 2 occupied in the bottom lane by himself.
Goes to show you, even with the bloodthirsty, you can't exactly 2v1. Especially against...
He can with flash and heal. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he burned a lot there. Unfortunate, but it did give compLexity the mid lane turret, which should open up the map for BrokenShard. It's on them now to start making the advantage, because Robert lost a little bit of it right there.
Really great play from Prolly, leveling the Q quite a bit to keep the ball movement up and give as much damage as these star calls are if you can keep zoning out high. It's been working, 97 to 73.
It's actually a matchup that's considered a counter by some, having Orianna against Soraka, at least for shutting down her ability to shove the lane. You just leave the ball out. Don't let it come back. We got a lot of faithful people on Twitter right now, 47% for compLexity. But honestly, 2,000 gold lead 11 minutes in. This could be a legitimate upset if they continue.
You got to remember when Cloud9 lost their games as well. It's when they lost footing in the early game against any team, XDG, Dignitas, whoever they lost to, it was within the first 4, 5, 10 minutes.
You can't do much worse than giving a triple kill at 4 minutes to a Lucian enemy AD carry who has been the highest performing member of the team as well thus far in the LCS season. Prolly as well. Pretty big lane advantage over High.
Yeah, he does.
High had a really rough game against Shifter as well. Definitely having a few issues coming back after his hiatus.
Been something that the team has to really deal with. You're playing with somebody else as well. You're not going to really attune to that person's skill. They know what High's going to do when they come back. It's just like somebody in the band. You know what they're going to be playing.
Band's back together.
But it's different. It doesn't feel the same. They look the same. It's just not the same result.
It takes a while to get used to it once
Yeah.
it comes back into the game. Still 2,200 gold lead, never losing 2 games in a row. Yeah. What a fight in the top lane.
Oh, 300 to 1 home! Yeah, he did. That was awesome.
Come on, Westrice. That can't happen if they want to make an upset in this game. Losing a straight 1v1 in the top lane while burning flash is disaster for them, but they're trying to make plays in the jungle.
Meteos comes in. Oh, the repel! BrokenShard still has to go down, but he dodges out a good bit of damage.
Oh, no.
That could be Prolly getting himself into a sticky situation. BrokenShard gives himself a scratch on the head, and Prolly, he kind of shrugs. They knew it was not a bad or a good situation.
Just like that, a Morgana roam actually through the jungle shuts down some big pressure. Probably with a few things to say, as we can see in the cam there about that. Kind of just like that, they're starting to lose control.
Oh,
Your
man.
teleport coming in for balls.
Beautiful job. Here's the inch. They're trying to take a mile, but RobertxLEE and Bubbadub, they got the express ride.
That's fantastic, actually, because Westrice gets some free farm in the top lane. But let's take another look at this one. High is kind of baiting that one out, honestly. BrokenShard gets jumped on by Meteos, and nothing to repel back onto. Nice roam by LemonNation. It's actually really bad that BrokenShard dodged that binding, because it ended up getting Prolly killed as well. And a double kill for Kha'Zix is danger.
The ward, that pink ward right behind red, that's what got him killed, and it actually still stands. compLexity is not able to move in and take that out yet. So Cloud9 with the defensive wards are able to make an offensive move. A little scary there for balls to get hooked by Bubbadub, but they're not able to get anything else out of it. 50 on Dragon. It's going to be pretty fun for both teams.
This could be the decider for a lot of this, because compLexity's early game advantage has mostly been forfeit. Those nice plays by Cloud9. There's no jump reset on Meteos yet, so we can't really clean up these fights. High doesn't even have his Athene, so he can't stay in a fight for too long.
Great ping.
compLexity could focus down High in a dragon fight. If it happens, it would be beneficial. Or even if it happens, you can see compLexity's going to try and bully this one a little bit.
Fantastic ward coverage.
Yeah, with all the ward control and controlling the Thresh, they may be able to make an uncontested dragon. There's a chance Cloud9 sees it as too high risk of a move. That's why Balls is running back up towards the top lane. Looks like compLexity actually gets this dragon. Now it's all about if they can stop a turret from falling on the other side. BrokenShard should just start up on his own.
Yeah, they go for blue. They're going to keep it. So Cloud9 knows. Going to have to give a little bit up on this one. And compLexity is going to come up with their second dragon of the game, taking that first one around 8 minutes. And they have it set to take it exactly as it spawns. Great ward coverage for compLexity means the map coverage is there for them as well. We'll see how fast they can get up here, because Meteos and Balls are kind of playing right now in the mind of Westrice.
Yeah, Westrice got to be careful not to get on tilt here. Meteos up there to see him means they get the turret. They just planned that one. Able to trade the dragon successfully for a turret, looks like.
Should get a shot down here. BrokenShard, Robert, and Bubbadub aren't going to leave until they get a little bit of gold for themselves. So it's the trade back and forth. compLexity is, I wouldn't even say answering. They're ahead. It's C9 that's answering.
Well, compLexity going to see how long they can keep this push going. Cloud9 actually trying to deny a lot of minions in the top lane. They're going to be using Balls as the fulcrum of power up here, as they usually do. If he gets far enough ahead, he's going to be that big, immovable object in a team fight. Actually gets all of the gold, the local gold for that turret, not sharing with Meteos. Going to want to power him up.
Nobody too big just yet. Probably finishing the Athene's Unholy Grail at 149. We know High to not have the highest farm, or not worry about getting all the farm in the world, but still a pretty good lead there. And Orianna makes an impact in those late game team fights.
Still no Athene's Unholy Grail completed for High.
Right.
Way behind the item curve because of that gank that he got hit early. And he puts a lot of money into vision control as well, which hasn't actually kept him safe this game. Putting him a good chunk behind Crawl. He needs his items. Cloud9 wants to be able to win team fights.
So I wonder how much, compLexity can take into consideration the game of Dig versus Cloud9. How much can they watch? What were the weaknesses? Are they able to take control of that? Oh, I don't know. Right now the weaknesses are finding Cloud9 split. Meteos thinks he's safe in the jungle, but continued ward coverage and pressure from compLexity here, giving him the upper hand.
Yeah, they're a little bit slow in getting the vision control down because you can see the jungle is taken. The red is already gone. So they don't gain much of that outside of a little bit of safety if they want to push in the bottom lane. But the bottom lane isn't necessarily pushing it. They are doing they have the right ideas. Their execution is just a little slow right now. Smite that away though, that was nice.
Trying to keep them at bay, really giving them everything to think about and try to put them on tilt here. compLexity playing very well with about a 2,000 gold lead. 2 more turrets down as well. So they got the map pressure in their favor. It's all about getting the forward wards, which they are not shy about doing. Wards past Golem already down by Sneaky in the bottom lane.
compLexity trying to play their hearts out right here, but they got to be careful not to overcommit. It's not like High can catch someone out of position and burst him down. He needs team fights and setup time. So tense right here for compLexity. 91% of the fan vote before the game was saying Cloud9 was going to win.
But there's that hope. They just saw Cloud9 go down. They're hoping they can keep them on that pressure. compLexity coming into this. They've felt LCS before. Now being back in, they do not want to be relegated again. So they're playing as hard as they can. This is very different from them as well. They've been down in the bottom jungle trying to make something happen while staying safe, which I give them credit for, because usually Cloud9 would have closed this already in that jungle and pushed them out.
Well, how well can they hold off this turret with 2 against 4, because they're not really giving any added help to them. The missiles can only clear so much. Another turret goes down for compLexity. Nice push if they can rotate mid and stop this push by Kazakhstan Soraka.
There's the ping coming in. They definitely have to get out of there right now. Westrice, he's going to try to keep him in as much as possible. No red buff there for him. So it's just going to be the walk and talk between these two. Doing what he can. The shield's going to be there for the Lantern in just a second. But it's the heal coming in. The Wish was weighted at the perfect time. And it's going to be Vision from the Lantern as well with the ward there.
Summoner heal by RobertxLEE to save Westrice right there. A great bait. Now they're trying to push down mid. All the while, remember, Balls is beasting at that top turret. Westrice trying to TP in.
Unfortunately, you don't make the turret invulnerable. That still goes down. Westrice, he's getting chomped out. That means he's getting reduced as well. The shockwave just missing, but he gets some good gold out of it in the farm. And Balls is going very hard right now.
Can't finish that.
Oh, ring around the turret. Very nicely played by Westrice, and this is going to be crazy for him.
What?
Balls is trying to teleport out. Can't do it in time.
What happened with Balls' brain right there? He needed to keep running away. He just let Westrice kill him right there. Westrice gets some revenge for that kill, and it means everyone on Cloud9 is just out of sorts right now.
Yeah.
3,000 gold lead for compLexity.
Definitely not on track right now in the mind game. Cloud9 is trying to recuperate from what's happening. See the fight going on.
I mean,
Blade
the
of the
fight
Rune
went on for a
King's
while.
used. It seems like
Westrice teleported in a very dangerous situation. He could not have saved the turret, and that was honestly a mistake for a flash start. And then he does ring around the rosy pretty well right here. He's played that game before. And at that point, Balls, I don't know why he decides to teleport. He thought, okay, I get it. Westrice was chasing out. He would have killed him anyway. Therefore, Balls tried to teleport. It was the smart move by Balls to try and get away. Westrice just followed because Balls had lost the duel by now.
just kind of knowing when you're dead. Valiant, if you think about it. You're
trying to make the great escape. The turret dive went on for too long, and Westrice would have chased him down because he had the health advantage.
Still a shocker coming in for most. compLexity really turning the table on this one. Only 20 minutes in, though. They've gained a lot more ground than most teams have on Cloud9 in that 20 minutes. They've been able to solidify a few dragons to themselves. Another one is alive, and they are 3 steps ahead of the game, already on it.
Yeah, 3,000 gold lead. Level 12, though, high with the Giant's belt. I wonder if they try and contest it. The Dragon's going down real fast. They can't get in position.
Dark Binding, but where's the follow-up? They got a lot of gap closers over the wall, but nobody is there to gap close. compLexity is kind of pushing Cloud9 around right now.
Yeah, one thing about having a Soraka on your team, if you're not strong enough to just walk through people in team fights,
right,
you can't really force them. The initiation from Cloud9 is not the strongest unless they're willing to fully commit. And being down this much, one fully committed lost team fight would most likely be a lost game.
Yeah, speaking of highest build, if we remember just back to what Bjergsen was building the other day, he kind of recipeed armor, magic resistance, everything together before he was even creating items. And was really, like you said, able to walk through the fight. But so choked up, trying to go for a Rylai's now to facilitate more team fight. High, struggling with that gold.
It is the standard Soraka build that's just pretty far behind. Once they get the Rylai's and they could get a little bit of an edge in a fight, the Rylai's will keep people interested. It is also really good for self-peel because the silence would slow for 35%. It's just not the case right now because he is so starved, mainly in team gold. His CS is okay, 180 CS at 22 minutes. It's not the level of Crawley, but that's because of the death. It's really just no objectives.
Nice repels coming from BrokenShard, dodging out a little bit of damage. Hasn't been the first this game. compLexity a little low on wards. They do have enough out to keep themselves safe right now.
Probably wants to get a shockwave from the flank. Gets warded out though.
22 minutes, still have that mid turret up and their bottom turret.
Oh man.
Coming in, Westrice is there. Looks like they may be able to start this. The culling's gonna start hitting very nicely. A 3-person command shockwave. Westrice right in the middle. Bubbadub's out of the fight with a sliver of health. It looks like Meteos and the team are microing this one perfectly and then focusing what they need to. Going for the turret now. They may go for an extra kill, but the lantern's safe, coming in big. And that's the Cloud9 fight.
Big fight there. It was a not all-in initiation by compLexity. They didn't all go in together, which means Soraka got time to work. She got a lot of star calls. It meant Meteos had time to go in for a reset. That's exactly what the Cloud9 composition was built to do. It's just harder to do when they're down so far. They kind of evened the game out with that fight.
They said, even if Cloud9 is behind, they go 100%. The vision on having that teleport come in too, they kind of prep the entire fight like you were saying.
Yeah, watch this one again. Nice start, it seemed like, but Bubbadub took so much damage. This fight is basically just starting now. And 2 people on compLexity are almost dead. The fact that Westrice went in at the moment he did with Crawley was nice, but that's how they needed to start the fight, with the first cocoon landing. That doesn't happen, it means the rest of Cloud9 falls down. Meteos gets 1 kill in and out. The sustained damage from Sneaky, all the magic damage on the shredded targets is even more effective. They clean house.
That wish basically negated all the damage that Shockwave did to those 3 members in the middle of the fight. And seeing that damage happen, you don't expect all the health to come back. You're already committed to a fight, so you're 2 steps too far in. compLexity finds themselves on the ground for a few minutes. Now back onto the Rift. 6-6 is this game, 1,000 gold apart. 5-5 in turrets. They were able to pick up quite a few there. An inhibitor being one of them is 3 straight down the mid lane.
compLexity's going to have to find a way through Trundle as well. Almost a Randuin's Omen completed on 2 balls. And with the way they need to kind of commit onto the Soraka team, it's very difficult for Robert to help out. He's 2,000 gold ahead of Sneaky, but he's got to shoot through balls before he can do anything. So it's almost like compLexity needs to CC lock balls before the fight, find a way of killing him, and then commit. It's a real tricky puzzle compLexity has to solve if they want to get the upset victory over Cloud9.
Upset victory indeed. It's really been only an uphill battle here for Cloud9 coming in. We see such amplified teams with these rosters that have been built. This would be great momentum for them. Even seeing this game happen, really giving a lot of the Cloud9 fans hope for the season.
Yeah, or compLexity fans hope for the season. Cloud9 fans are sweating a little bit right now because they want to beat compLexity down with ease, but that's just not happening right now. The early triple kill from Robert definitely set Cloud9 back, and now it's a matter of clawing their way back from behind. compLexity, for their confidence, would need to win this game. But even with the start, beating the 2-time defending North American champions who've never lost 2 games in a row in the LCS is a rather tall task. Even coming this far is an accomplishment in itself.
And the goal is basically even as they tie it up 25 minutes into the game. Gonna get the red buff over to Sneaky, try and facilitate some more slow on these fights with that damage. Cloud9 doing everything they can, put everything in their favor.
It's actually really interesting. They're trying to get LemonNation level 11. That's why Sneaky waited for LemonNation to get into experience range at the red buff. Having his 2nd rank in his Soul Shackles is very critical, and they just hit it there. They're prepping that, potentially, for the next Dragon fight.
Something that Bubbadub may be waiting on as well. He's actually quite close to the 90% mark of leveling up. He's saying, come do wraiths with me. Do something. I need to get this. Cloud9 formulating in mid. High is going to go ahead and farm up a little bit more gold. He knows he is behind. Usually High would be with the team right now, trying to farm it up, but you can see him reactively playing to what was the case of the early game, him being behind. 30 seconds on Dragon. There's a lot of pings going down as they start to boogie that way.
Gold is dead even as well, Riv. I wonder if compLexity even wants to commit fully on a Dragon fight, because at this point, Cloud9 has a much better team fight composition. compLexity would almost need to get picks, which they're going for now. Trundle not in the fight, teleporting in though.
High in a real bad spot. He's forced to wish right away for only himself. A lot of HP that could have been used. Balls is in, the shockwave hits High. Culling is going back, and it's kind of spread out between 2 members. compLexity's not finding a lot of damage, but neither is Cloud9. Little half health on both sides. Good damage both ways.
3 ultimates burned on Cloud9 size. Meteos, Balls, and High do not have them. Probably burn Shockwave. And honestly, 3 ultimates burned on compLexity's side as well. But the stronger teamfight composition who took less damage gets the Dragon as reward. And now they need to rotate mid and maybe even find a fight if they close in behind compLexity.
Good gold on that Dragon. Not at max yet, but it's enough for Cloud9 to keep it in the lead. Nice stop onto High. This should be an inhibitor turret, but Cloud9's moving in very fast. This is the 100% aggression that BrokenShard was talking about. Once Cloud9 knows they can, they will continue to put the pedal to the metal.
Yep, that mid lane turret will regenerate if compLexity doesn't make a quick return. They were thinking about it, but they have an exposed inhibitor. They have to get back for him. That is directly where Cloud9 is heading.
Cloud9 going coast to coast. See if they can get just the reaction out of compLexity here. You see most of the team is peeled off. You're gonna get some wards starting to set up. Whoa!
High's dead.
Clicking a little too far in here. Definitely a mistake by Cloud9. See how compLexity reacts.
What's gonna happen? Sneaky goes down as well. This could be Baron.
Wow, huge plays coming in. compLexity's gonna move down the mid lane, but this wave and possibly Baron is all they want. The inhibitor turret is live, and it looks like they are gonna try to go straight for it. Gotta be very careful. The zoning potential that a Morgana could have coming in on them. I don't know if LemonNation would try to, though.
Too much of the damage is dead for Cloud9 as well. The Soraka Corki synergy is gone. They decide to go for an inhibitor. They might even get the Baron after that one. A complete missed call by Cloud9. Big miscommunication. I think High thought he had backup when he very clearly did not. Yeah.
An interesting form of miscommunication, something I don't think we've really seen before. The team entirely split 29 minutes into the game, and compLexity will move on that error immediately.
Really sloppy play from Cloud9 here. And compLexity is capitalizing quite well. I mean, coming into the season, I think a lot of us underestimated how difficult it was going to be for Cloud9 to switch back and forth with primary shot callers. And even just for High, from a mechanical and game sense perspective, being away from the game and then coming back to immediately playing on the NA LCS level is not easy. It's going to take some time for Cloud9 to ramp back up to 100%. Clearly, they are not there right now.
Compare some of what we're seeing right now. 242 to 260. Probably doing a great job in the mid lane of keeping that 274 to 220, the previous number of the 80 carries. RobertxLEE has been able to hold a 5-0-1 game on that Lucian. Really able to play it smart. Great save onto BrokenShard. There's not much they could have done to get him down. compLexity is just biding their time right now. They know they have a bit of a lead, but they also know that they can't pressure to lose it. They got to do the right things, and only the right things.
compLexity needs to pressure this Baron with the use of their super minions. At the moment, they're pressuring bot lane, hoping to apply pressure in multiple lanes, but Cloud9 has a strong enough front they can clear these minions. They might actually get a fight because they cleared the minion waves. Shockwave on one, this is bad.
Bubbadub gets hit. Meteos jumping over the wall, trying to get in. Bubbadub could go down. There's the wish to come out. A little bit of a summoner heal as well. And it looks turning. Wow. Ball's turning around. Now focused on RobertxLEE. They're kind of chaotic in this one. Sneaky, Meteos, and Lemon. Backline very low. Sneaky eating the culling. Westrice staying alive in the micromanagement of their HP bars on Cloud9. Pulling that fight ahead.
Yeah, that was Cloud9 fighting in exactly the right place. With the super minions, having an extended team fight would generally mean Nexus turrets, but they fought right in the mid lane, which is exactly where they needed to go. Then the Shockwave only landed on one, and compLexity shouldn't have actually wanted the fight at this exact moment. They fought them heads up 5v5 without a clean, hard engage, which is really the only way Cloud9 wins a fight. You can see the power of Soraka StarCall cutting down, the chase potential of balls, a great pillar to trap Westrice right against the wall, and it just locked up a kill for Cloud9. Great team fighting. That's something Cloud9 will always be able to do, whether they're rusting or not.
To 50K.
Again, honestly though, when you have an inhibitor down, the other team needs to commit resources to clearing that wave. If you fight them in the middle lane, you let the enemy team kill two birds with one stone. compLexity need to either fight at the Baron pit or in a lane somewhere else so that there's resources for Cloud9 being traded. The fact that they fought them as they were clearing the mid lane minions meant Cloud9 did not have to move at all and could easily control the wave while fending off compLexity.
Cloud9 having a few options here, as you said, with these fights going in their favor. I'm sure they feel strong about Baron. But with that tension also up, once it's down, they have the bottom turret as well to be messing with that hard-to-guard outside second tier. So from Cloud9, they can kind of take a breath for a moment. High does have the Rylai's, a little more facilitated in the fight with a continuous engage. And we also has Twin Shadows coming out from LemonNation as well. So a lot of where is compLexity.
And now there's a teleport discrepancy on the top laners as well. Westrice is down here without teleport, and Balls is just going to push that top lane. Cloud9 can very easily try to go for this one. compLexity having to force the Baron. Cloud9, they're going to end up giving up. That's not the best timing. I thought for sure that they were going to play a poke and prod game at that Baron pit to let Balls have time to work, but the Baron just went over to them.
Whoa, very nicely done. Meteos getting locked up there for a second. He's going to try to get himself out of this. He's forced to ult once again. High goes into the middle of the fight. He's down. Baron's grabbed, and C9 stays for the fight.
And now they're pushing up the mid lane. They have to remember they have an exposed inhibitor as well. They're maybe trying to stop the minions from coming through. This is a crazy call by Cloud9. They actually seem out of sorts. Some of them pushing, some of them recalling. compLexity is together as 5.
We got crazy attack speed coming out of Trundle on that, but it is going to be 4 members of the team. He can't even get that his Contaminate down to really get the speed.
compLexity might try to end the game. They don't have minions there, though, so they're trying as best they can to finish off those minions. Watch the other side.
One Nexus turret going down. They're still going to try to push themselves through. This is Sneaky being up. Sneaky does have some damage. He has finished a bit of it, and it's Bubbadub eating all of it on the back end. 3 members of compLexity quite hurt as they make their way out of the base. Balls does get the inhibitor, but compLexity a Nexus turret up now on Cloud9.
High about to respawn, and Ball's actually coming in from the other side with Shockwave down.
Stop trying to
might
fight.
just continue the chase. There's Trundle!
Trundle, oh my god, Ball's from the other side. They pull him right into the fight. Can he get another chomp down? Subjugate has already been used. He is going to stick onto Prolly. The pillar could be coming up soon. The burn is not going to kill down BrokenShard. The double kill there, however, Meteos with no mana throws on the ultimate. There's the shot, and it just misses BrokenShard. Got the spiders behind him. He should stay safe, but C9 is in the base.
And now they use the Spooky Ghost to try and get even more. Did they push too far? They have 2 members of compLexity down, 5 people in the base. Let's see if Cloud9's chance of ending it works out. They're out of resources, though.
Now on the other side, let's flip the tables. Cloud9 inside compLexity's base. 35 minutes into the game, 9-9. The gold is 300 apart, and it's 8-7 in turn. This could be a final fight. RobertxLEE. He is going to go down immediately. Sneaky with a big kill coming up there. Westrice trying to do what he can to stay alive, even with taking Baron. Cloud9 finds the way to bandage that situation for now, taking down 2 Nexus turrets. But compLexity is trying to get every last bit of fight out of this.
They're pushing him out.
And they have pushed Cloud9 out of the base.
They lose both Nexus turrets. Bubbadub flies in.
Wow, Bubbadub getting the shield. No. Thought he was going to get dissonance movement speed. BrokenShard playing with fire here. LemonNation going to get the spell shield, but they can bring it in. Flash is forced, and it is a constant battle of aggression between both teams.
This game, Riv, is nothing if it's not entertaining right now. The teams are clearly playing sloppy, but they are trading blows, shot for shot. 2 Nexus turrets down on compLexity's side. 1 Nexus turret down on Cloud9's side, and because they have pushed them away, and the way they've been getting catches, this is clearly anyone's game. Let's see how this one turned around. compLexity, Westrice is very big in the middle of the fight here, and he was not able to take down. The trail on the ground actually did a lot of damage to keep Cloud9 out, and BrokenShard distracted Sneaky long enough, the primary damage dealer on that Nexus, that it ends up they have to run away, and then it's just the long chase that didn't result in any kills. Only 11 kills to 10, with 17 overall turret kills in this game.
Cloud9 and compLexity both delivering top-notch caliber play here in the summer split. Not something that a lot of people thought could happen. They thought compLexity was still trying to find out where they could round themselves out, what was going to be the main type of strategy that they used. And by God, to find it in the first week here against the 2-time split champions.
Yeah.
So far, amazing. The game is far from over. It could be seconds, but that's going to be a tough fight when it happens.
compLexity actually made it into the LCS on a base race.
Right.
We have to remember, they're pretty experienced with the way this works. If we think way back as well, it's a bit of a reach, but the spring qualifiers, when High first tried to qualify for the LCS, they lost to Marn in a base race. So there's some memories going through. Cloud9 not the best in base races. compLexity has had success. I feel like they're going to be more fearless in going for something, even though they have 1 Nexus turret to take down and have an exposed Nexus of their own. We could very well see that. The teleports from the Soul Laners is going to be huge. Balls can take down a Nexus very quickly with Trundle. That attack speed and being able to use his Q is critical. Team fights straight up 5v5 should be going in Cloud9's way, but as the gold gets bigger and bigger and the Shockwave hurts more and more, it's going to equalize. What a game.
Sneaky actually building up a Blade of the Rune King now because of all the pressure he's feeling. Must stay alive situation.
Yeah.
Doesn't even go for the GA. Maybe doesn't think there's enough time for that cash to come in.
Needs the damage.
Yeah.
At this point. And really just the mobility. If Shyvana dives on him, he wants to be able to counter with his own Blade of the Ruin King to try and zip on out. 74% Twitter vote for compLexity.
Oh,
How the tables have turned for a team that is down 2 Nexus turrets.
A lot of love being given right there. compLexity could absolutely find this. The bans, like we said, didn't think they were going to really affect Cloud9 that much, and it doesn't seem like they have. It's still revolving to Cloud9's overall early game play. If they falter there, it's a shaky game.
Yeah, this is Cloud9 really trying to find their footing in the new split. They have made a couple big positional mistakes. High getting caught out multiple times by a very willing compLexity team to capitalize on Cloud9 mistakes. Both inhibitors are back up, so teams have a bit of safety. Baron is going to be a big magnet that draws the teams towards them. Now the question will be, Is that magnet going to cost a team their Nexus? They have to be so careful where they commit, where they get seen by wards. Pink wards are a priority. Almost, honestly, a scrying orb would be great right now because there's going to be one moment of vision that could potentially decide this game for either team.
This has to be, it is incredibly tense for both teams, especially against a team like Cloud9 who, when you think you have the right idea, they appear in your base, like you're saying. They're the ones to be ending the game. We've already seen it happen this split where a COL completely ended the game. They weren't able to get back in time for a team. So see both teams right now with their head in it.
They're having fun.
They are enjoying themselves. A wet noodle fight here in the bottom lane between Balls and Westrice.
And compLexity at least positioning themselves to have the upper hand, but with how long the death timers are, if they lost a team fight or even were low running out of a team fight, they won't have time to recover before Cloud9 would completely rush up the mid lane, stop them from backing, get the inhibitor down, and then kill the Nexus. They have to be so incredibly cautious, taking any type of poke.
Poke indeed. Sneaky's trying to get out everything he can right now. You see him being very, very aggressive.
Right now.
Baron indeed is up. The rotation, Westrice does get himself across the mid, so he's not split up from the team.
And a huge Cloud9 minion wave in the top lane as well. compLexity would actually have to clear that at some point. They want to find this fight, but without a clean initiation, it's trouble. High does have some nice star call starts.
Meteos.
This is the fight.
Meteos had to jump out of the fight, but they are going very hard into Westrice. He gets a good bit of heal, I believe, coming in, yes, from RobertxLEE. The culling, he is going to hit it perpendicular to just about the entire Cloud9 team. They spread very nicely, and it's a rush down mid.
This is what we were talking about, though. compLexity is very low, and Cloud9 has the heals. They have no reason to stop this push. The minions are only far behind, and no Nexus turrets. compLexity has to make it back and fight them off without taking any casualty.
Cloud9 doing what they can in a very strenuous game. That command shockwave is still up. They cannot force it to go past the inhibitor. Baron is still to be toyed with.
And the sustain is so critical right now from Soraka. compLexity, especially without Nexus turrets, any super minions that reach their Nexus would end the game. They want to stop this Baron, but they can't wait long. They have to fight almost immediately. This could be the end of the game if they can test this one wrong.
2 pink wards, 10 hits to be taken out. Great play there. Cloud9 cannot afford to take that time off of Baron. And it looks like compLexity's trying to dictate how this game is being driven now. They said, back down your mid, Cloud9, let's go.
And they have to. They have to stay in the mid lane. If minions even make it past the halfway point, Baron is lost for them because they will immediately need to go and defend it. It's really difficult for compLexity at this point. With every mistake Cloud9 has actually made, they now have a very high percentage of winning this game because they are stronger in 5v5 team fights and they hold the super minion advantage.
It is going to have to be a basically perfect shockwave to crowd control the entire team.
And even then, they need RobertxLEE to find a squishy target. It takes him so long to work through Trundle. If he can't get to the back line, they do not win.
A little bit of hit here. You can see the use of that minion wave. They feel quite aggressive. Westrice, a nice block on the Banshee's Veil. Ball's in place, but you can see Cloud9 start to shear off.
As long as compLexity can keep Robert in the mid lane without taking harass, they can keep the minions in the right spot and hopefully stall long enough for their inhibitor to respawn. But if they don't want to give up the Baron, they cannot move from that point. So Cloud9, the deeper they push them in, the better it is for Cloud9.
5 strong in the mid lane. Cloud9 looks to make a power play here. Not everybody is level 18 yet. Quite a bit of 17 still in the game. Meteos is 17. BrokenShard's 15, however, could come into big effect during the fight. Cloud9 to take down the dragon. Bit of extra gold. May not even have time to spend.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, the fact that they pulled for the dragon, it means their pressure is lost. They're giving it up. It is completely reset at this point, and they need to start this whole game over again. The inhibitor is going to be up very shortly for compLexity, and they may have withstood that really dangerous moment in the game. They're not out of the woods yet, but that was a nice hold by compLexity. It's a nice wave Balls is starting as well down there. compLexity would eventually have to send someone to defend that, unless they go for Baron almost right away. So they're going to push out that last wave of super minions and maybe just go for it.
Satisfying farm.
May as well go for it, honestly. See, Westrice has to go and clear that wave. He's the one to teleport, so that's the only person they can send.
This is the blue buff that Cloud9's waiting for. This will make High super effective coming into this next fight with all the star calls. Still watching that ball movement of Prolly. If he can get one into a good position, shredding a bit of health on LemonNation there. Gotta be careful. Cloud9 really giving respect to compLexity in these fights as well.
I mean, they know how strong the Orianna Shockwave can be. BrokenShard, he's silenced. Just barely makes it over. And that drew the teleport out. Westrice actually had to cancel it because that would have been probably the bad teleport. It wouldn't have been good.
That one. They happen. Happens. 45 minutes into this, 11-10. There's a bit of gold lead now coming in for Cloud9. It makes everybody rethink the engagement. But now Westrice is to the mid lane. This is intense. One wrong move. We were saying as well, Cloud9 does have the chance to make a mistake in this fight. Possibly still come out on top being stronger.
Westrice goes in!
That's the hit! That's West going in. Meteos is the first one hit up. We see LemonNation on the Zanyas high in the back line, and Robert focuses him. Nobody's even looking at Robert right now. There goes the Wish. They get more heals coming out, and this is beautiful positioning from compLexity. This could easily be game 70 seconds per death timer. compLexity is going to take the game over Cloud9. 45 minutes in as they rush for home and base.
How could Cloud9 stop this one? They have 3 people up, and Robert has red buff as well as a ton of items. The inhibitor's going down, everything for compLexity. They might win this one, Rip.
This is absolutely, it would have to take a miracle for these guys to get up. Home guard no longer puts you at exact 100. You still have to heal up. Yeah, they're coming out strong, but it's 5 members of compLexity. A huge damage on that hook. There's the Nexus turret. Can you believe it? compLexity gonna take down Cloud9 on day 3.
Unbelievable, Rib. Nobody would have thought that the first win compLexity gets in the LCS Summer Split would be to the defending champions, Cloud9. Especially after losing 2 Nexus turrets in that very same game.
Some absolutely amazing moves throughout the game. The rotation, the control. The triple kill to start off the game in the bottom lane. The names of RobertxLEE and Bubbadub, again, when you say compLexity, are the ones you think of. Obviously, in these games, they played amazing.
8-1-3 on RobertxLEE.